Hello to everyone, and welcome to the sixth lesson of intermediate reading class based on the text that is the excellent speech of Sakya Pandita, Sakya Legshe. And today we're going to read or recite the sixth verse of the first chapter, examining the wise. Before we begin our class, I will recite the first verse, and the reading will be as normal. First, I will read the entire text, the entire verse. First the syllable, then the word, then the line, then afterwards the entire verse, and afterward we will have, I think we have two volunteers from last class who will be reading after me today, and then we'll go to the English translation, then the new words with the example statement, then finally question answer, and then I will recite the final verse. So before we begin today's class, let me recite this. So today's verse, the translation will be available later. It will be made available later. So today is a verse of auspiciousness, a verse of good, wishing good and wishing auspiciousness. So so those of you who are putting hard work and studying and learning in Juta, means 5 major and 5 minor sciences. So those of you who are studying, who are in the study, or who are putting effort in studying the 10 sciences, those who are the lineage holder, those who are the future of the teachings by the great teachers and the masters. The one who, those of you who are correcting their mistakes, and thus who are clearing out the darkness of ignorance within themselves to teach others, to show others in the future. May all of you students have great auspiciousness and great prosperity in this path of learning, to become a path of learning and becoming a master of the 10 sciences. So with this verse, let us begin today's class. So today's verse is the 6th one of the first chapter, that is examining the wise. So kebatap, which means to examine the wise. The verse, so let me first read the entire verse one time, and then I'll begin by reading each syllable. Kebatseji matipa, hei parto tingmepo, ngala yuku manupa, ngala yuku manupa, hesi shendan keji yu. Ke, 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 ba, 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 keba, 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 Kepa. Zi. 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 Jing. 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 Zi jing. Zi jing. Zi jing. Zi jing. Ma. 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 Ti. 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 Mati. 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 Pa. 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 Kepa zi jing. Mati 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 pa. Te. 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 Yi. 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 Tei. 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 Par. 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 Tu. 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 Partu. 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 Ding. 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 Mi. 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 Pok. 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 Ding. Pok. Ding. Pok. Ding. Pok. Ding. Pok. Ding. Pok. Tei partu ding mi 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 pok. Nga. 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 La. 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 Nga la. Nga la. Nga la. Nga la. Yuk. 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 So I'll be doing a character reading of this. Ta. Tauwa. Tauwa ya taya. Tauwa ya taya shabju yuk. Tauwa ya taya shabju yuk ka yuk. Ta. Tauwa. Tauwa ya taya. Tauwa ya taya shabju yuk. Tauwa ya taya shabju yuk ka yuk. Ta. Tauwa. 头外的呀，头外的呀是句有，头外的呀是句有可有，他头外的呀，头外的呀是句有，头外的呀是句有可有，他头外的呀，头外的呀是句有，头外的呀是句有可有，有去去去去有去有去有去有去嘛嘛嘛嘛nun nun 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 pa 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 manun pa manun pa manun pa manun pa manun pa ngala yuku manun pa ngala yuku manun pa ngala yuku manun pa ngala yuku manun pa the 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 si 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 the si the si the si the si shen 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 tang 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 xian tang xian tang xian tang xian tang xian tang ke 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 ji 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 yu 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 ke ji 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 yu. So this is actually a particle ji. It is a particle. It's in this case it is a interrogative particle which is asking what. So ke ji yu te si xian dang 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 ke ji yu ke ba zhe jin ma chi ba te yi par tu ding mi bo nga la yu ku ma nun ba te si xian dang ke ji yu ke ba zhe jin ma chi ba te yi par tu ding mi bo nga la yu ku ma nun ba te si xian dang ke ji yu ke ba zhe jin ma chi ba te yi par tu ding mi bo nga la yuku manun pa tesi shendang keji yu kepa zejing mati pa tei partu ting mi po nga la yuku manun pa tesi shendang keji yu kepa zejing mati pa tei partu ting mi po nga la yuku manun pa tesi shendang keji yu. So before we do the reading, let me just read some of the words which have many character compounds in this. So so that you can also see the so this I'm doing this in order to show the transition or the change that the crown letter or head joint letter does to the sound of a foundation of names. So this by itself is za, ha, ho, ratsata, za, ho, ratsata, za, ho, ratsata, za, ho, ratsata, za, ta, zi. So observe well when each of the parts are joined together, the sound changes. Sometimes it becomes a much more bolder sound. Sometimes it becomes a sound which is cut short. Sometimes it's a stretching sound. So here we see po, ratsata, zata, zi. The sound cuts. So zi. And this one, let me recite this once again. Ta. Towa. This is pa, but when it comes as a foundation of name, mostly after the prefix letter ta, it usually transforms. So the transition is made from the sound pa to wa. Ta, to wa. To wa yata ya. So now we see that the sound of yata comes here. So ya. Kayata kya, kayata kya, kayata kya, wa yata ya. To wa yata ya. To wa yata ya shakyu yu. To wa yata ya shakyu yu kayuk. To wa yata ya. To wa yata ya shakyu yu. To wa yata ya shakyu yu kayuk. Ta to wa yata ya. To wa yata ya shakyu yu. To wa yata ya shakyu yu kayuk. And pa. Po sanatana. Po sanatana shakyun hu. Po sanatana shakyun hun na hun. Pa. Po sanatana. Po sanatana shakyun hu. Po sanatana shakyun hun na hun. So you see that the addition of this sound makes this, when we pronounce it sanatana, the sound becomes more with more air in it. It becomes a more softer sound with a lot of air. But now when we're adding na, what happens is that the sound becomes more it has the sound is no longer stretching. It's cut short, and then the sound of na becomes a little bit more bolder. So pa, po sanatan ha, po sanatan ha shakyun hu, po sanatan ha shakyun hun nan hun. Pa, po sanatan ha, po sanatan ha shakyun hu, po sanatan ha shakyun hun nan hun. Nun, nun pa, ngala yuku manun pa. Okay, so let me recite this once and then we'll begin reading. Keba zejing matiba tei partu ting mi po. Ngala yuku manun pa. Ngala yuku manun pa tesi shendang keji yu. Ngala yuku manun pa tesi shendang keji yu. Keba zejing matiba tei partu ting mi po. Ngala yuku manun pa tesi shendang keji yu. So here we see that if we try to make the sound too soft, then the flow is disrupted. So therefore, that is the reason why we make the sound even a little more bolder. So instead of hun, it becomes more like nun. Kepa tsejing matipa te partu ting mipo. So you see that the sound is becoming much more bolder here. And the reason is in order to retain the flow. Okay, so this is the verse. So during our last class, we had two people volunteering to read, if I remember correctly. So one was, I think it was Evgenia, right? And the other one was there were two. So do we have them here so that we can have them reading today? So, we had two. I think one was Ritala, was it? One was Ritala and
Yes.
other also. So, Ritala, would you like to read first?
Sure, no problem.
So, I will be reading each syllable 4 times, each word 4 times, each line 4 times, and then we'll do the entire verse.
Okay.
Ke,
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 ba,
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 kepa,
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 se,
je,
se,
je,
se,
je,
se,
je,
jing,
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 se jing,
借景，
se jing,
借景，
se
借景，
jing,
借景，
se jing,
借景，
se jing,
借景，
ma,
马，
ma,
马，
ma,
马，
ma,
马，
ti,
记，记，
ti,
七，
mati,
提，
mati,
马蹄，
mati,
马蹄，
mati,
马蹄，
mati,
马蹄，
pa,
爸，
pa,
爸，
pa,
爸，
pa,
爸，
kepa, se jing, mati, pa,
给巴借景，马蹄爬，
kepa, se jing, pa,
给巴借景，马蹄爬，
kepa, se jing, mati, pa,
给巴借景，马蹄爬，
kepa, se jing, mati, pa,
给巴借景，马蹄爬，
he,
提，
he,
提，
he,
提，
he,
提，
yi,
一，
yi,
一，
yi,
一，
yi,
一，
hey,
提，
hey,
提，
hey,
提，
hey,
提，
hey,
提，
har,
爬，
har,
爬，
har,
爬，
har,
爬，
tu,
图，
tu,
图，
tu,
图，
tu,
图，
har tu,
爬图，
har tu,
爬图，
har tu,
爬图，
har tu,
爬图，
ting,
定，
ting,
定，
ting,
定，
ting,
定，
ting,
定，
mi,
咪，
mi,
咪，
mi,
咪，
mi,
咪，
po,
啵，
po,
啵，
po,
啵，
po,
啵，
mi pok,
咪啵，
mi pok,
咪啵，
mi pok,
咪啵，
mi pok,
咪啵，
Tei partu ting mi po.
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 Tei partu ting mi po. Nga, 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 nga. La,
La
la,
la
la,
la
la.
ngala
Ngala,
ngala
ngala,
ngala
ngala,
ngala
ngala,
ngala
ngala. You, 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 you.
yuk
You,
ku
ku, ku,
ku
ku,
ku
ku,
ku
ku,
ku
ku,
ku
ku.
yuku
Yuku,
yuku
yuku,
yuku
yuku,
yuku
yuku.
ma
Ma,
ma
ma,
ma
ma,
ma
ma,
ma
ma.
nun
Nun,
nun
nun,
nun
nun,
nun
nun.
pa
Ba,
pa
ba,
pa
ba,
pa
ba,
pa
ba.
manhun pa
Manun pa,
manhun pa
manun pa,
manhun pa
manun pa,
manhun pa
manun pa.
ngala yuku manhun pa
Ngala yuku 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 manun pa.
he
Te,
he
te,
he
te,
he
te. Si, 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 si.
si
Te si,
si
te si,
si
te si,
si
te si.
shen
Shen,
shen
shen,
shen
shen,
shen
shen.
tang
Tang,
tang
tang,
tang
tang,
tang
tang.
shen tang
Shen tang,
shen tang
shen tang,
shen tang
shen tang,
shen tang
shen tang,
shen tang
shen tang.
he
Ke,
he
ke,
he
ke,
he
ke.
ji
Ji,
ji
ji,
ji
ji,
ji
ji.
yue
Yue,
yue
yue,
yue
yue,
yue
yue,
yue
yue,
yue
yue.
he si shen tang ke ji yue
Te si shen tang ke ji yue.
he si shen tang ke ji yue
Te si shen tang ke ji yue.
he si shen tang ke ji yue
Te si shen tang ke ji yue.
he si shen tang ke ji yue
Te si shen tang ke ji yue.
he si shen tang ke ji yue
Te si shen tang ke ji yue.
ke pa zhe jin ma tin pa
Ke pa zhe jin ma tin pa.
ke pa zhe jin ma ti pa
Ke pa zhe jin ma chi pa.
ke pa zhe jin ma ti pa
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
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 Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
Tei Patu Ting Mi Bok,
Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
Tei Patu Ting Mi Bok,
Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
Tei Patu Ting Mi Bok,
Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
Tei Patu Ting Mi Bok,
Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
Tei Patu Ting Mi Bok,
Ngala Yuku Manunpa,
Ngala Yukut Manunpa,
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 Hesi Shendang Keji Yu,
Tesi Shentang Keji Yu,
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 Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
Tei Patu Ting Mi Bok,
Ngala Yuku Manunpa,
Ngala Yukut Manunpa,
Hesi Shendang Keji Yu,
Tesi Shentang Keji Yu,
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
Tei Patu Ting Mi Bok,
Ngala Yuku Manunpa,
Ngala Yukut Manunpa,
Hesi Shendang Keji Yu,
Tesi Shentang Keji Yu,
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
Tei Patu Ting Mi Bok,
Ngala Yuku Manunpa,
Ngala Yukut Manunpa,
Hesi Shendang Keji Yu,
Tesi Shentang Keji Yu,
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
Tei Patu Ting Mi Bok,
Ngala Yuku Manunpa,
Ngala Yukut Manunpa,
Hesi Shendang Keji Yu,
Tesi Shentang Keji Yu,
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
Tei Patu Ting Mi Bok,
Ngala Yuku Manunpa,
Ngala Yukut Manunpa,
Hesi Shendang Keji Yu,
Tesi Shentang Keji Yu,
Zhe Jing,
接近
Zhe,
这
Zhe,
这
Zhe,
这
Zhe,
这
Zhe,
这
Zhe,
这
Zhe Jing,
接近
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 Nga,
nga
Nga,
nga
Nga,
nga
Nga,
nga
Nga,
nga
Nun,
nun
Nun,
nun
Nun,
nun
Nun,
nun
Kepa Tenzin Matipa,
kepa 接近马气爬
Hei Partu Ting Mi Bok,
tei partu ting mi bok
Ngala Yuku Manunpa,
nga la yukut manunpa
Hei Tesi Shendang Keji Yu,
tesi shentang ke ji yu
He,
ke
He,
ke
He,
ke
He,
ke
Hesi Shendang Keji Yu,
tesi shentang ke ji yu
Zhe Jing,
接近
Zhe,
这
Zhe,
这 这
Zhe,
这
Jing,
近
Jing,
静
静
静
静
静
静
这静
静
这静
静
这静
静
这静
静
这静
静
这静
静.
这静
Also, so you'll have to work a little bit when you're reading this in combine.
Yes.
And this has I think it's now already fine.
Okay.
Once more.
I need to cut the nga, right?
Once more.
Okay. Nga la.
Nga,
Nga.
nga,
Nga.
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 And this one.
Ke.
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 Okay, so this one, and then a little bit work on this too. Other than that, rest are fine.
Yeah.
Most.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Who is reading? I think it's Evgenia la. Do we have Evgenia la today? I think we don't have Evgenia la today. Okay, so in this case, who would like to read tomorrow? Sorry, the next class. Who would like to read during the next class? Do we have anyone volunteering to read during the next class? Do we have someone who wants to read next class? So, who would like to read during the next class? Do we have anyone? Okay, so then we'll have so those who have not read before, then if we have someone who have not read before, in the next class, we'll have a lucky draw, and then that person will be reading after me. That's it. So let me go to the translation. So examining the voice. Until the learned are thoroughly questioned, their depth cannot be assessed. Until a drum is beaten by drumsticks, its distinction from the other drums is unknown. So this is translated by John T. Davenport. So in here it states that Kebatiji Machipa is translated as until the learned are thoroughly questioned. So until the one who is learned and who is a scholar is not questioned. So if someone is regarded as someone who has great knowledge, it is always much better to ask them questions and then try to gain answers, which in normal teaching would not come. Because of difference of perspective or many other reasons, we might have many different, so we might have difference of opinion and perspective, because of which many questions may arise. So it's always better to ask them because they have seen many things in many different perspectives, asked the same questions many times, and have understood the have understood the same answer in many different perspectives. So therefore, until the learned are thoroughly questioned, until and unless you don't ask question to the learned one, you'll not be able to understand how much that person knows or understands, or how much knowledge that person has. So until the learned are thoroughly questioned, their depth cannot be assessed. The depth of their wisdom cannot be assessed. Until a drum is beaten by drumsticks. So if we have a line of many different variety of drums, many different drums. So let's say if we have one variety of drums, then all the drums looks the same. But until and unless we start beating on the drum with the stick, we won't be able to make distinction between the drums, distinction of the sound that it makes. So by this, we will understand which drum is a good drum, which drum is not a good drum, only by hitting it with the stick. If we don't hit it with a stick and if we just look at it, sometimes many drums could look alike. And one might think, oh, all of these are looks the same. All of this might, if every one of them are decorated very well externally, then one might think, oh, all of these drums are most wonderful. And then if one would just take one and then that drum, if it's a good one, then it will make a good sound. Then one might think, oh, okay, this was the correct decision because the drum sounds good. But if one doesn't examine it there at the point and takes it, thinking that all the drums looks alike, must sound alike, and then when they start beating, it doesn't make good sound. Then one might think, oh, even if it looks the same, it does not sound the same. So similarly, uh, one might encounter many who might seem like learned, but it's only through great questioning, thoroughly questioning them, that one will understand the depth of their knowledge. So this is the translation by J. John T. Davenport. And now the translation, the take of translation by me. Most of the things are same because the translation does great justice to the verse. So not much is changed, just some word as a preference. So until the wise is examined thoroughly through questioning. So until and unless a wise person, a learned person, a wise person is questioned and examined thoroughly by questioning, the depth of their knowledge cannot be estimated. One cannot estimate how much knowledge do they have without questioning them, without trying to understand how much they know. One cannot say that, oh, this is a learned man, he must know all of the things, because one hasn't questioned them on all of the things that they know. Leave aside all the things that are actually, they have not even questioned them on all the things that they have known to establish that wise person knows everything. So until the wise is examined through questioning, the depth of their knowledge cannot be estimated. One cannot estimate the depth of their knowledge. Until a drum is hit with a stick, until and unless a drum is hit with a stick, the sound cannot be distinguished from the rest. So its sound cannot be distinguished from the rest of the drums. So the sound of this particular drum cannot be distinguished from all the rest of the drums that are present there. One will not know whether this drum is a good drum or a bad drum, or its sound is better than the others, or it's worse than the others. It's only when one starts hitting it with the stick that one is capable of saying, oh, this drum, when I hit it, it makes this sound. This is a good drum. So this is the take of the translation. Now the new words, se, which means to argue or to examine, to argue or debate with someone, or to examine something. So se, mitse par nelu chinra toksam, mitse par nelu chinra toksam. How can one comprehend the truth without examination? How is one able of comprehending the truth without examination and questioning? T, which means to, T means to question or to ask. This is, both of these verbs are past tense. Sharipu, sharipu, chendesila titar chiso. Sharipu, chendesila titar chiso. In this way, Shariputra asked Avalokiteshvara, Ting, depth, Shelpur ki gyatso ting mipotar, rangi ki sheja chunki, sange ki yunden kala po nuso. Shepur ki gyatso ting mipotar, rangi ki sheja chunki, sange ki yunden kala po nuso. Similar to the fact that glass is unable to estimate the depth of the ocean, how is it possible for our limited knowledge to estimate the qualities of a Buddha? To estimate. Keki kong po tsui chi gyuni chung tigla pelcher yung so po nu sena hajang no re. Keki kong po tsui chi gyuni chung tigla pelcher 용조 보누 세나 하장 노래. For you to try and estimate his knowledge is little fair. But to say that you have estimated the entirety of him is very wrong. To say that how much you know the entirety of the knowledge or qualities that someone possesses is very wrong. Nga drum tembe trunga trautu jashinam itu tembe trunga trautu jashinam itu. When thunder drum of truth makes sound, rest of the noise cannot be heard. Yupa stick legi yupa la nyiring mela ngachime legi yupa la nyiring mela ngachime. The beating of karma doesn't have biases and happens at right time. Nunpa, beat or to beat or to hit. Ngala nunpe drachampoten. Ngala nunpe drachampoten. When I hit the drum, it made loud sound. Tesi, until. Tesi means until. Jisi kwa matong tesi tunga mitong. Jisi korwa matong tesi tunga mitong. Until the samsara doesn't until the samsara until the samsara doesn't disappear, the dukkha or the suffering will not vanish. So these are the new words that we have from this verse, the words which we have not discussed prior. So in most of the lessons that we have done, we have at least 8 words. So according to that, by now we have, I think, so this is the 6th verse. So at least 48 to 50 words are already discussed through this text. So if you're making the sentences, that's most wonderful. If you sometimes when you're looking back at these words, if you're unable to understand the meaning, you can ask me directly. So that's all. Okay, then does anyone have questions regarding today's lesson? Does anyone have any questions regarding today's verse, explanation of verse, or if they have any other questions regarding meaning of the words, if it has some different meaning that you might have heard, or if you have any questions regarding the meaning of the verse. So the meaning of the verse is not discussed thoroughly, meaning that it's not discussed in depth right now. The reason being that this particular lessons that we're having is more it's more focused on reading rather than understanding, rather than knowing the text. So therefore the explanations are very brief. Okay, so does anyone have any questions regarding today's lesson? So then I'll be reciting the final verse. So this is a verse from the same text, but it is taken from a different chapter. This is so the verse that I'm trying to introduce during the end of the lesson. Usually we just write a verse of dedication. Instead of this, I've changed to this manner of introducing some of the verse that are in the text, but we won't be discussing throughout this course because we have only 9 lessons. So therefore, this particular text has even in one verse, one chapter, there's almost 25 to 30 verse, and so taking in account, there will be at least 200 to 300 verse in this entire entire text. So that is the reason why many of the verse will not be lessons that we're having. That is the reason why some of the more famous verse, some of the more well-known and more famous verse that are used not only by teachers and teachers and uh, some of the geshe-las who give teaching, not only them, but some of these words are also used in daily conversation by the elder people when they're giving example. Like if someone is doing something in some way, they would bring out these verse in order to give them, in order to advise them. So therefore, some of the more famous ones, some of the more well-known and most more used verse out of all of these, at least 300 verses, I'm trying to introduce some of them here. So this is from the fourth verse. We will not be reached. We won't be able to finish the first chapter, let alone being able to reach to the fourth during this course. So therefore, I thought, why not introduce some of the more famous verse which comes later. So this is from the fourth verse, the verse in which which is known as the combination of the first, second, and third verse. Sorry, the first, second, and third chapter. So this is of the third chapter, examining the combination of the three, which is the three chapter that comes prior to this. So the text, the verse says, "Yunden chungna ngagel che kebar kunna tulwonne chuten tautu kucho che kyatso chacho kalatro yunden chungna ngagel che kebar kunna tulwonne chuten tautu kucho che kyatso chacho kalatro." So this particular verse that I have introduced, actually, it came up while one of the class that I was teaching. So one of the students, he need to recite this during the morning assembly. So he showed me this verse, and then I thought, oh, this is one of the more commonly used verse. So I thought I should introduce this, and it's a very beautiful verse also. So yuanden chunam ngagya che kebar chunna tulwanne. So yuanden chunam ngagya che, which means that the one who have very little good qualities, the one with less number, or who have a little knowledge, a little a very little knowledge, and those who have very less of the good qualities, nam ngagelche, are more arrogant and self-centered. Those who have become a master or a great scholars, the more they become learned, the more they are tamed, meaning that it doesn't mean that they are weak. Tulwar means the one who have tamed their own inner mind. So those who have tamed the inner mind, meaning that they are more calm. So kebar kunna tulwanne, those who become more learned are more humble. And this is this first verse is the meaning, and the examples are provided here. The small streams, when they flow down from the mountain, they always make so much noise. They make so much noise. So whenever the small rivers and the stream, when they flow down, they always make a lot of noise. Even though there is not much water in them, they are making so much noise. But look at the ocean, which holds such great amount of water. Where does it make sound? It is always tranquil. It is always peaceful. And the sound it makes are always harmonious when we listen to them. It's always peaceful. So here we see that Sakya Pandita is giving the example of having good qualities to the amount of water that it has, a particular water body has. And the example of the person who has little knowledge, a very little good qualities, is compared to or given example as a small stream, a very small stream. And the example of the wise or the learned person is given as the ocean. For the wisest, the ocean of wisdom. And the example of being humble is given as an example of not making any unnecessary noise. So we have the similar thing. So this is a verse by Sakya Pandita, but we have a common saying in Tibetan. We say, "Ne tongpa khangle ketsa." Ne tongpa khangle ketsa. Ne means vessel. So ne tongpa means empty vessel. Khangle ketsa means makes more noise. So the empty vessel makes more noise. This is a common saying that we have in Tibetan, which has similar meaning to this. The one who has a very little knowledge and has a very little good qualities are always very loud. Even it may be in their external expression. It may be in any expressions that they do. They're very loud, and means that if one becomes a master, one becomes a great scholar, a wise man, the more they learn, the more they are becoming a master, a scholar, the more tame they become, the more humble they become. Because knowing that they have already conquered what's inside, there is no need to provide evidence outside. It's like a vessel that holds the sandalwood. Even if you don't open the cap of the vessel, the smell somehow travels far and wide. So therefore, this is an example which is provided so this is an example of an ocean that is provided for the learned one. So this is a very beautiful verse, and something that for someone like me, it's always helpful to remind myself the kind of person that I might be. So very wonderful verse to always recall to oneself. Like I said, Sakya Pandita's verse are very good when you're learning how to read, because when you're reading and when you're thinking about it, it also helps a lot. It is not only for the people who are practicing, but also for the people who are living a worldly life, because it doesn't matter if you are a practitioner or you are a lay person. No one likes an arrogant person. And so therefore, it's a method that Sakya Pandita is teaching someone to have a harmonious life as a practitioner or as a lay person. And if you follow this, it's wonderful. So there have been many, many, many of these written at those times, not only Sakya Pandita, and not only Tibetan scholars. There are many other scholars. Like one of the more famous one that I normally read, it's in Hindi. It's called Chanakya Niti. It's written by Acharya Chanakya, very great scholar during the time of during the time of the Mauryan Empire. So yeah, there have been many of these things written at that time. So therefore, without any more elaborations, so this is a verse that is in the 4th chapter, but I have placed it here, and I will try to find more verse in all of these chapter. Especially, I'll try to find one in the last chapter that is called examining the dharma. So Shweta. examining the dharma, then we'll have 1 or 2 words here, which would be wonderful. The verse which are these verse, if you like, you can memorize them. But the verse which are provided in the beginning, these ones that we are learning, please read them, recite them, and if possible, memorize them so that you can recall it again and again all the time. You see, if you are the thing about having it in memory, some people say that this concept of memorizing things is at this time it is not that logical. But the thing is that even though we might have all these technologies in which we can carry millions upon millions of books, but sometimes we reach some places where we might just, you see, be able to recall it through our mind and then think about it. So it's better if we memorize, if you can memorize it. So 15 minutes a day is more than sufficient to memorize this, and at least to memorize all the 9 verses here in at least 2 months. So sometimes it may take 3.5 months. But if you just give 15 minutes a day to memorize them, then recall them, that is a wonderful thing. So therefore, please recite and memorize these if you can. Some of you are sending me some of you have sent me the recording. Some I have sent the feedback. For those whom I have not sent the feedback, I will be sending it tomorrow. There is no assignment for here. The only assignment, like I said, if you're capable of making sentences, please make sentence, send it to me. I will send feedback. And if you would give me permission, I'll share the same in the group so that everyone else could read it. So therefore, please read, recite, memorize if possible, and then look at these words with the meaning. And if you want to make sentence, or if you just want to include them in your vault of words, in your dictionary or in your vault of words, then you can do that also. So these are quite wonderful words. And the audio recording, some of the audio recordings that you have already requested me, they will be coming along in few days. So therefore, they will be available. And yes, so this is it for today, for today's lesson. And I hope that this was beneficial to every one of you. Those who are reading and reciting and practicing reading, please make sure that you read them, report them, send it to me. If I don't answer to them directly, I will answer to them eventually. So therefore, and then if you have any words that you're reading and you are unable to pronounce them correctly, or if you are pronouncing them, so this is something that comes to me from my experience for teaching for the so I've been, like I said, I've been giving classes on Tibetan to Westerners for the past now almost 5 years, in which I have also experienced this, that sometimes, even if you know how to pronounce them, there is a thing in the mind that tells you that this might be incorrect. You see, there is this doubt in the mind that says, oh, this might be incorrect. And then even if you're pronouncing it correctly, sometimes you have this fear and you're thinking, oh, I might be pronouncing it wrong. So if you have those kind of doubts or any doubts regarding pronunciation of any new words that you might find, just send it here. If you have some new words that you find you may check the dictionary, but you still don't get a very clear idea about those, send it in the group and I will get to them eventually. So it might not happen directly, might take 1 or 2 days, but I will get to them. So I hope this was beneficial to every one of you. And those who are joining me for the grammar class, I will see you on Friday. Those who are joining me for the reading class, I'll join you on Sunday. Those who are joining me for the both of these, I'll see you on Friday. Okay, so Lasso, so this will be it for today. So thank you very much for joining in, and Tashikala to everyone. And I hope that everyone have a wonderful day. be it morning, evening, or noon, wherever you are. So, Sashitele, and thank you.